Star 103.5. Simply the best.
Hello there, good morning. It's 6 o'clock GMT and you are listening to the Star Breakfast News with me, Obed Gaglo. Coming up this morning. Parliamentary Monitoring Group PN Africa welcomes decision to open 7-member ad hoc committee investigating last Thursday's appointment committee chaos to the public.
We are sticklers for transparency in parliamentary work, open parliament, like we like to call it. And so if something like this, which is of keen interest to the people of Ghana.
And also ahead, Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining hails decision by EPA to reclaim and rehabilitate water bodies affected by Galamsey. And later in the bulletin, economics at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Patrick Esuming proposes establishment of commercial farms to help address high food inflation. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Do stay.
Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA, also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM, Star News, informed, in-depth, in touch.
Grateful for your time. Now, the Minority Caucus in Parliament has launched a scathing attack on the clerk of the Appointments Committee, accusing her of exhibiting blatant partisanship in the ongoing ministerial vetting process. They argue that her conduct has undermined parliamentary neutrality and are demanding her immediate removal. At a press conference on Monday, February 3, 2025, Minority Leader Alexander Penyumaking reaffirmed the caucus's unyielding stance, declaring that they will not be cowed into submission by the majority. In the wake of the incident, 4 MPs were slapped with suspensions, 3 of whom belong to the minority. The opposition caucus, however, is demanding that Speaker Bagbin rescind his decision. Parliament is on edge following Speaker Bagbin's decision to suspend 4 members of Parliament in the wake of last Thursday's chaotic ministerial vetting. The disorder, which saw tables overturned, microphones smashed, and MPs nearly exchanging blows, brought proceedings to a dramatic halt, forcing the Speaker to take disciplinary action. However, the Minority Caucus, led by its leader Alexander Penyumaking, has fiercely contested the decision.
We have come to a conclusion that Mr. Speaker grossly exceeded his jurisdiction and his mandate, and in the process arrogated powers that he does not have unto himself. We believe that though we disagree with Mr. Speaker, out of deference to him, we must still engage him, and we would engage him.
On the issue of the clerk of the Appointments Committee, Minority Leader Alexander Penyumaking is calling on the Clerk of Parliament to ensure she is removed.
The clerk to the committee is a partisan clerk. She is not a neutral professional clerk. She's caused us a lot of discomfort. We've tolerated, accommodated her. At this point, it's getting out of hand. For now, we don't want the clerk on the appointment committee again. We, the minority, are calling on the clerk to Parliament to remove her from the appointment committee.
Describing the minority as a happy but mighty few, minority leader Alexander Penyumakin insists the minority will not be intimidated by the majority.
This happy few will not allow itself to be intimidated. We will never surrender to any intimidation. All the issues that are being thrown at us are aimed at cowing us. None of it will work.
The minority emphasized the caucus's resilience, stating that their action are driven by national interests. Meanwhile, a 7-member committee set up by the Speaker to probe the incident has begun its work in earnest. On that issue, Parliamentary Monitoring Group PN Africa has welcomed the decision by the 7-member ad hoc committee investigating last Thursday's chaotic scenes at the Appointments Committee to the public. Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin last week constituted a special committee to investigate the violent altercation and present its findings and recommendations to Parliament in 10 days. Chairman of the committee and MP for Ho West, Emmanuel Bedra, at a media briefing said the committee's responsibility is to investigate the unfortunate incident and identify any MP responsible for it.
Considering the agency with which we are to work and present our report, we have decided to outline the modalities and rules of engagement relative to the committee's work. Firstly, and by way of emphasis of our job, we are to conduct a full-scale investigation into the event of Thursday, 30th January, and the morning of 31st January. 2, identify all members involved in the disorder and submit a report with findings and recommendations. To do this, the committee wishes to announce that we have decided to hold a public hearing of all the issues starting from Wednesday here in Parliament House at 10 a.m. prompt.
Speaking to Starr News on the back of this, Executive Director of PN Africa, Samuel Bing, said the public hearings will ensure more transparency.
We are sticklers for transparency in parliamentary work, open parliament, like we like to call it. And so if something like this, which is of keen interest to the people of Ghana, is going to go on, we need to see how it takes place. Yes, we know that opening up some of these things to public hearing has globally accepted best practices, that to the extent that you must make it public, but there may be certain peculiar instances where there may have to be some in-camera testimonies because of various reasons prescribed by law and already pre-agreed to. And I think that the committee chairman, the honorable member for Ho West, mentioned that when there is a need for those specific instances, just so that people will not feel intimidated, they'll be willing to go in camera for those ones. And so we are looking at a bouquet of all possible options within the rules of parliament to deal with this matter. But for me, what would be the most important thing is that the committee would keep to its mandate. And what is its mandate? As read by the Speaker in ruling. The committee's mandate is very simple: to identify people who are culpable, to make the necessary recommendations, as we and who have been punished so far, and not the only people we saw misbehaving. There are more who misbehave, and they must be dealt with appropriately.
Away from issues in Parliament, the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining is praising the Environmental Protection Agency for its efforts to reclaim and rehabilitate water bodies impacted by illegal mining activities in the country. This comes after a recent visit to the Ashanti region, during which the EPA expressed concern over the severe environmental damage caused by mining operations near major rivers, especially at Pasoro, near the River Ofing in the Echima Agwamweja North District. Here is convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, speaking to Starr News.
It is important that we get the various officers who are responsible for managing the environment and also dealing with the issues of Galamsey paying particular attention to it. You know that since August last year, the situation had exacerbated, and that's what resulted in the outrage by all of Ghana that metamorphosed your media coalition to become Ghana Coalition, because you had over 50 other entities also expressing their revulsion against the destruction of the environment.
Now, in business, economists at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Patrick Esuming, is proposing an establishment of commercial farms to help address the country's high food inflation. The rate at which prices of food items on the market is increasing remains very high after the rate of inflation climbed to the 5th consecutive month. This comes despite a slowdown in overall inflation for January 2025 to 23.5%. Reacting to this, Professor Esuming says there is a need to urgently address high prices. He spoke to sister station J1 TV.
The way food is grown, we haven't gotten to the point where we do all-year farming. So it means that critical inputs have to be provided for farmers to ensure that we are getting the right, we are planting at the right times. We have to make sure that is done. Okay. One of the challenges we've had is that our food production is still primarily reliant on the weather. We have not invested enough in irrigation systems. So I think that's something that we have to do. But in the immediate term, I think the government should really pay attention to helping set up more commercial farms. Right. We should do this before the next harvest season comes, because what we are seeing today is a reflection of the investment we didn't make at the last planting season. So we have to make sure that we do that now. Otherwise, come next year, we'll be having the same conversation.
And this is how I wrap up this morning's bulletin. Grateful for your time. My name is Obed Gaglo. For more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. Have a blessed day.